and welcome to Our People, the podcast where we give space for Holdeman Stories. We focus on hope, healing, and inspiration. Connection, consciousness, and love are the driving motivations for this project. Remember to have grace for those who have chosen to speak out and share their experience. Please enjoy the story you will hear today.
Welcome to Our People's Podcast. Today, I'm your host, Amanda, and with me, I have Carolyn. So she is going to tell us her story. Carolyn, why don't you introduce yourself and go ahead?
Hello, I'm Carolyn, and I'm 47 years old with 2 children. I'm a single parent, and I think I'll start with my childhood so you can get to know me from there. I grew up in a very large family of 9 children. There was a lot of anger in our family, especially from my mom, and there was a lot of abuse because of that. And she had mental illness, and it was a very sad situation there. Though there were some highlights in my childhood because we lived in a farm, and so that was good. We could get out and play and have fun there. When I was a teenager, my mom couldn't cope with me, so they sent me out to live with other families in the Holdeman church, which was very traumatizing to me. Except the one highlight was living at my Uncle Stephen's in Scott City. They were amazing to me, and I loved that, but I could only stay there a year because of the laws. So anyways, I was baptized when I was about 12. I never believed that I was actually converted at that time because I felt like I was pressured into the church by my parents and my peers, and we all just joined because it was a thing to do. And I was expelled later on. I don't know how old, 15 or maybe. And I left the church and lived my own life, and eventually I had a child when I was almost 26, I think. And that really changed my life. I realized that God actually loved me and cared for me, and I wanted to start give him the best chance that he could do. So that's when I came back to the Holdeman Church and wanted to make things right and just be a good mother for my son. And as time went on, when my son was about 27 months, I got this proposal from a guy. He was I thought he was a good, stable man because he was in the mission field when I was, well, actually, a step back, I had moved from where I was living to Northway, Saskatchewan, and there I had met this guy. He had gone to the mission field, so I thought he was a good catch, because he had gone, he was serving. And anyways, we got engaged, and I started having really dark feelings about this, Saul, and I didn't know what to do with it. And he was having really dark feelings. Obviously, he didn't talk to me for 9 days while we were engaged, and he actually went to the staff and called it off, but they refused and they wouldn't let him call it off. And so we just ended up getting married. That was the worst day of my life, actually, to say the truth. I don't know why I wasn't stronger and just walked out, but I just believe that that's, the staff didn't let us call it off, so it was just a thing to do. So we got married, and right away the marriage was very horrible. He was abusive. He was extremely abusive, and he would use the silent treatment to punish. And when we started off, it was like 3 days, and then at the end, it was like a year of no talking. So it was quite difficult. But in the first year of our marriage, um, he came out with that he was into bestiality. And so, of course, he got expelled for that. And the minister told me that he had been expelled 3 times before for this. And they never told me, they never gave me a clue. And they knew this when tried to call it off, and they still didn't. It blows my mind that they would do this to a young mom. But I guess that's what they did. And in the first year, this is definitely a trigger warning. He threatened to kill me, and we were together for 5 years. And I know it's by the grace of God that I am alive and that he didn't kill me. There was a time that he had brought home a gun, and we had me and the children, we prayed, and God had given his angels and surrounded us with angels to protect us so he couldn't kill us. And I look back at that memory, and that's very amazing to me that he did this to me. And anyways, so yeah, it got very bad. He started staying out all night, and I mean, that was a relief, to tell you the truth, but it was very abusive, and the staff realized that it was not safe, so they gave me some I think $150 to go and go back to Crooked Creek, which is where my parents live, and start a new life. So I took my 2 children. They were let's see, 6 and 3 at the time, because I had a daughter with him. And we started a new life over there in Crooked Creek. And I got a job at the local nursing home. And I was persecuted there. It was the local Holdeman nursing home. And the administrator, which was a Holdeman, he told me that he was very prejudiced against me, and he didn't like my family, and like and he said that the Holdemans were the worst workers. It was like just hell working for him, because he was always on my case and always calling me into the office, and he would make me cry, and it was just brutal. But anyways, here I was, a single mom, trying my best to do what I could. And they gave me a bunch of support people that were supposed to help me. But and I guess that was okay. Except when my son was 9, well, back a little bit, we had parent-teacher meetings, or parent-teacher interviews, or whatever they're called. And the teacher told me that my son was so good that it was as if he was converted. And so I was pleased that, school was going good and everything. But come summertime, these people that came, that were supposed to be my support people, they came to me and told me that Nicholas had to move out of my house, and they gave me 1 week to decide. It wasn't because he was, they said that I was a good mom. They said there was nothing wrong with that, but they said that he was never going to turn out if he didn't have a father in his life. So they told me that he had to leave the house and live with this other family. And they gave me a 1 week to decide, and I said no. And they said, well, no is not an option. He's going to get kicked out of school if you don't do this. So I thought, well, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe he should just live there for a little while and see how this works. Like maybe I'm just being an overactive parent. But anyways, so he lives there, and for maybe a week, I don't know, it wasn't very long. And then one night I was working at the nursing home, and my coworker told me that the family that Nicholas was living in, they were going to move, I think something like 14 or 16 hours away, and they were going to take him with him. And I totally lost my mind. And I started crying, and I was so mad that I drove up to their place and I told him that he was coming home with me and he was coming. So he did come home. And oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that before I agreed to letting him come home, or before I agreed to letting him go to this place, they did kick him out of school. And
What reason did they give?
it was because he was negative. He has a learning disability, and he was negative at school because he wasn't learning and he wasn't getting the special care that he needed to learn.
Oh. Okay, so they kicked him out because he was special needs, and they didn't feel like they had.
Yeah, because he was negative. He wasn't positive about going to school. He was negative about school because he was struggling.
Okay, but then they said that he was so great that he could be converted, or he acted like he was converted.
Yeah,
So how did those
that's
two
what
go
they told me.
together?
I don't know. Like that's why they lied to me. I accused them of lying to me, and they said that it wasn't a lie, but I found out that they had told the teachers that they were not supposed to tell me what's going on in school.
What? Okay.
Yeah, this is a very strange story.
Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, go. So go. I'm so glad that you went over there and you demanded he was coming home with you. Good for you, Mama. Good for you. Now go on.
I got very angry, and he came home with me, and they actually got him a special education teacher after I was finished my yelling and all that. Well, I wasn't actually yelling, but things changed, and they never gave me problems after that.
Good for you. See, you
So
just asserted your motherhood, and they decided to fall in line.
yeah, they did. And actually, another thing that they told me is that there was 14 men that had decided that Nicholas had to live out of my home, and none of them told me until they were all talking about it behind my back, and I didn't know a thing about it until my so-called support group told me about it. So it
Okay.
was like horrible. I was like fighting against 14 men.
Why
14
14 men? Was
Holdeman men.
this okay? Was this a committee of some kind or random 14 men out of the congregation?
Well, I don't know. I think it was, who knows, because I didn't really know, but they told me it was 14 men that had decided that Nicholas had to live in a different home.
Okay, well, 14
So I
men
was fighting.
to my one motherhood. You can take a number, people. Go on.
Yeah, I agree. That's like, yeah, you just have to fight for your children.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, it was very horrible.
I believe it.
Anyways, yeah. My children kind of did struggle though, with behaviors, because I was working full time and I was working night shifts, and they did have their problems because I mean, I admit that, because I just wasn't there for them. And we didn't have the support, because the people that were supposed to support us didn't support us. And so it was kind of like really difficult. So we moved away from Crooked Creek and we moved to Norquay. And um Nicholas came completely undone when we moved to Norquay. Like, that is where we used to live before. And it was mental health issues. He had mental health issues, very severe mental health issues. So this is actually a good thing that the Holdeman Church has done for us. But they put him in rock solid refuge rehab where he could become stabilized. And that did help. He was there for 13 months. And my daughter also had issues too, because with Nicholas having such issues, it affected her. And she actually did something at school, and then she got kicked out of the school. And this really offended me, because when they told her that she could come back to school, like, she had just done her thing in front of her class, but they made her apologize in front of the whole school for her deed. And I just felt so horrible, because it's just that it felt like how they do it when they excommunicate a person and re-accept them. They make them say their little thing, and then if they are okay, then they get reaccepted. And that's how it was with this, just a little girl. And it just made me mad. Oh yeah, and another thing, I'm wandering all over the place, but when I was in Crooked Creek, they were really hard on me. They said, well, I told you about the administrator, how he was, but also the other people in the community, they would tell me to be a good wife and go move back to move back with my husband. And they told me, yeah, they tried to get me to move back with him and get together with him. And like, they didn't have a clue, and they just were, I thought, very ignorant. But anyways,
I was going to say, did they not know why you had left, or that the abuse had started, or that he'd even tried to call off the wedding? Like, this marriage apparently should have never even
it shouldn't have ever
happened.
happened. I know it shouldn't have ever happened. And if the right people would have stepped up and said, no, this is not going to happen, it wouldn't have happened. They had so many chances just to, they knew what he was into, and they knew he tried to call it off, but they never gave him, I don't know, they just never followed through with it. They just let us get married. and then they had to deal with it.
I mean, because they were hoping the problem would go away.
Yeah, because
Apparently,
Holdemans kind of think that if you get married, then the problem will go away, or kind of
apparently not.
assume that.
He didn't stop it after he was married.
Yeah, but that doesn't. It's not the way it goes. It only gets worse.
Well, I've known
Anyway,
other people that were homosexual who they thought getting married would fix that problem too. Like, hello.
yeah, it doesn't fix the problem. So where was I? Yeah,
Okay, so you moved back, and then your son went off to that camp for 13 months.
yeah. And then my daughter had gotten kicked out of school, and then they did that whole kind of excommunication kind of thing with her. And so I had left the church about this time, and um let's see, I'm trying to think of the timeline. Yeah, they once I left the church, they kind of stopped bothering me so much, and I felt like God had led me out of the church, and he showed me another church to go to. It's a non-denominational one
Okay.
in Yorkshire, and there we found amazing family, and our church family, so we were very close with them. And yeah, about a year ago, then my mom was really ill, and so Dad asked if we could come and help her, take care of her, because he was working. And so I agreed. I took off from work. I was able to take off from work, and so I helped her. And when she started feeling better, then I started working at the nursing home again that I worked at before.
The same one where you were abused?
Yeah. But this time, I was expelled and everything, so they were awesome to me. They did.
Oh, there you go. Had you known it would have been that easy the first time around.
I know, I should have just got expelled before and just left. I don't know why I stayed as long as I did, because there was so much bullshit that happened that. So I worked there, and well, actually that's where I am right now, but I'm moving back in August. Mostly because of church family. You need a church family.
Very important.
And the church over there, I like that one in Yorkton that I really enjoy going to. So
Yeah, community is very important.
it is. I really enjoy that community. So that's pretty much my story, I think. Do you have any questions?
Okay. So the first time at this nursing home, you said it was a minister that was an administrator?
Yeah, no, well, there was a minister that was an administrator, and he actually was benched.
Oh, okay. But he wasn't the one that made you cry.
No, it was somebody else.
Okay. So now this go around, that he is no longer there, whoever this person is.
Yeah, he's
Is he there?
gone.
He's not there?
No, he isn't.
Okay,
He's
good.
gone.
Okay.
He got fired.
Oh, good. Good. It's good to know. Okay. Your mother, did she ever find peace in her life with her, like her anger issues?
I think so. She doesn't seem to have as much anger as she used to.
So when you went home and you took care of her for that length of time, you didn't have an angry woman, an angry, bitter woman
Oh,
that you
no.
had to care for. Good,
No, I didn't. Yeah, she had changed. She had
good.
settled down.
Okay.
Antidepressants help and, other things.
Wonderful. Okay. So you and your children moved back there, I'm assuming, then when you helped her.
Yeah. Well, my son didn't. He moved back later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how old is your children?
My daughter is almost 18 and my son is 21.
Okay, very good. And is she in school?
Yeah, she's in
Does she work?
school.
Very good. And what about
She's
your son? Does he work? What does he? Is he in school?
um no, he's not in school. He's 21 and yeah, he works.
Okay, very good. Um, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm still just so blown away that they didn't he went and tried to call off this wedding and they told him no.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. And they knew that he was into that stuff.
how you can't, I mean, I don't want to get married. Like and they should have just, I mean, where was we respect your decision.
Yeah, I don't know. It
I mean,
was
this
a
is like
mess.
an arranged marriage.
Yeah, or something. It was horrible.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
So, whatever happened to him? What became of him?
He went to drug and alcohol rehab because he's alcoholic and does drugs.
No contact?
Nope, we don't see him. He refuses to see us and he refuses to see his family and he gives child support every month and
I'm
yeah,
going
so
to
that
guess. I'm going to guess that something happened in his past that contributed to all of this.
well, I
Um,
would say so too.
and then the fact that, he didn't want to be married and he was forced to be married anyways. I mean, like, people got to stop playing God and
I
they
agree.
need to allow people to have free will and to make their own choices
I agree.
because all of y'all had to live with the fallout of some man saying, no, you need to get married. You're going to get married.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
It is. It's terribly sad. Okay. But your children, your daughter, your son, all well adjusted.
Well, we're getting there.
It's a process. No matter what happens in your life or doesn't happen in your life, it is a process.
It is a process. Yeah, but we're definitely on that healing path.
Good. And it is difficult raising children in a two-parent household, much less a one. And when you work nights, it just messes with, it seems like everything in your system. So it makes it really, really hard. And so I can imagine you struggled. And then if you did not even have a good support system in place, I cannot even imagine how difficult all of that must have been.
Yeah, it was very hard.
But I mean, congratulations to you that you stood up and refused to allow, how old was your son? Them to
He was
move him.
9. He was
How
9.
he was 9. How old were you when they decided you needed to leave the home?
Um, I think around 33.
No, when they told you to move out when you were a teenager because your parents couldn't handle you.
15.
Okay, wow. And so you said that was hard on you. So can you imagine a 9-year-old boy not having his mama?
I know. It was very traumatizing, and because of my experiences is why I was so against it.
But nobody listened.
Yeah, nobody cared.
I wonder what's wrong with these. Oh, sure. Okay. And then I say they surely don't do this anymore nowadays because I mean, there are so many studies showing how traumatic it is, and that they just decide. And what ludicrous that he's not going to become anything because he doesn't have a father figure around. I'm sorry. That's been happening for decades, for centuries,
Since
and
yeah,
since the beginning of time, and these children turned out perfectly fine. That is
yeah,
not the deciding factor. You know, oh, they want to call themselves Christians. They could just say, what can we do to make it work? Because no child should be separated from their parent.
yeah, I agree.
Well, then that crazy man just said um he was prejudiced against you. Like, okay, okay.
Actually, when he gave me the interview, he asked me if I cooked for my husband and did his laundry. He actually didn't hire me. I had to go to the board and they hired me.
Wait, you weren't even with your husband, were you, when you went and got this job?
No, I wasn't.
So then what did it matter?
I know, but that's how they were. They're very prejudiced against me, and
This job
yeah,
is contingent on whether you did these things when you were with your abusive husband that wanted to try to kill you, was into bestiality.
yeah, I know.
Bless their hearts. Ignorance, you cannot fix ignorance. You cannot fix it.
No, you can't. It's hopeless.
You also can't fix stupid, but you know.
Yeah,
Okay. So you're moving back in August.
yeah,
Okay. What is your plan there? You're going to work you have a job lined up. What are you going to do?
yeah. I have a job lined up. I will be working with mentally handicapped adults.
Have you done that before?
Yes, I've done it since I was about 20.
Okay, so that is what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing now?
No, it's not what I'm doing now. Now I'm working in a nursing home.
Okay, yeah. Okay, very good.
That's my job of choice.
Okay, your job is very good.
Yeah,
I am sure you're very good at it. And so how many hours away is it from where you live now?
it's 14.
Okay. But you have a good support system where you're going.
Yes, I do.
Good. Your daughter is going with you and your son?
Not my son. My
Okay.
son is staying here.
Okay. And is she excited about going?
Oh yeah, she's very excited about going.
Good. Okay. Because you've only been back where you're living now for a year, did you say?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So now she's going back home. All her friends are there, everything.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. See, love, light, and hope. And you're going back to a great community where you belong, doing the job you love to do. Your daughter is excited because she gets to go home to her. See, that's a very positive note.
It is a very positive thing. I'm very excited about it.
Good. I am glad to know that. So then on that, unless there's anything else you would like to add, I'm going to go ahead and we'll end it.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. It is an honor to connect with our guests, and we wish the best for them as well as our listeners. Remember to like and subscribe for more episodes. Our People can be found on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. If you are interested in sharing your story, please contact us at ourpeoplepodcastteam@gmail.com. Thank you.